or the one you call when it's convenient for you. Self over chasing someone who didn't meet her halfway. When a woman stops chasing, it doesn't mean she stopped caring. It means she started caring more about herself. And the moment she does, she's no longer looking back. Do you see it the same way? Drop a yes if you do, and follow me to see more videos. God bless you.
Leave your suggestions on my community tab in YouTube channel that on which topic would you like my next video.
What makes a woman lose respect for a man? It's not about how much money he has, how tall he is, or how smooth his game is. Respect goes deeper than surface traits. For a woman who values emotional maturity, it's about how a man carries himself when things aren't easy, how he shows up when no one's clapping. Now, let's be real. A woman can love you and still lose respect for you. That's where it gets tricky. Because once respect starts slipping, the emotional glue holding the relationship together starts to weaken. And when a woman doesn't respect you, everything changes. How she talks to you, how she looks at you, how she trusts your decisions. So what causes that shift? First, inconsistency. A man who says one thing but does another will slowly chip away at her trust. If you're hot one day and cold the next, making promises and breaking them casually, she starts to feel like she can't rely on you. And when she can't rely on you, she can't respect you. Second, emotional cowardice. Let's not confuse being calm with being emotionally unavailable. If you avoid hard conversations, shut down every time she brings up a real issue, or act like her feelings are too much, she's not going to feel safe being open with you. And when a woman has to constantly dim her emotional light around you, she'll start seeing you as emotionally weak, not strong. Third, passivity. A man who refuses to lead in any area, his life, his growth, or the relationship, eventually becomes unattractive to a woman who's doing her inner work. Leadership doesn't mean control, it means intention. If she's always the one making plans, initiating progress, or having to push you toward your potential, that doesn't feel like partnership. It feels like parenting. And lastly, disrespect. Subtle jabs, dismissive tones, rolling your eyes when she talks. These things seem small, but they build up. When a woman feels unseen, unheard, or unappreciated, she doesn't always shout about it. But inside, the switch flips. She might still be present physically, but emotionally, she's checking out. And here's the twist. When a woman loses respect, she doesn't always leave right away. But she starts investing less. She stops looking to you for answers. She stops fighting for closeness. It's not revenge, it's resignation. The bottom line is this: respect isn't demanded, it's cultivated through consistency, presence, integrity, and leadership, not perfection. When a man shows up with emotional strength and authenticity, he earns more than love. He earns her respect. And when he loses that, it's a hard thing to get back. If you feel this message, drop a yes in the comments and follow me to see more videos. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when I believed that the more I gave, the more I loved, and the more I accommodated people, the better my life would be. But life has a way of teaching us lessons that no book, no mentor, no friend can teach. And one of the hardest lessons I learned was this: stop being too friendly. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying we should stop being kind, caring, or compassionate. But what I am saying is there is a fine line between being kind and being taken for granted. When you constantly prioritize others at the expense of your own well-being, you slowly start losing yourself. Being kind is one of the most beautiful traits a person can have. It reflects warmth, empathy, and a genuine concern for others. But have you ever wondered where kindness ends and over-friendliness begins? Have you ever felt drained because you kept giving, only to realize that the people around you never reciprocated the same energy? This is where we must draw a line between being compassionate and allowing ourselves to be taken for granted. Many of us are raised with the belief that being a good person means always being available, always smiling, and always helping, even at the cost of our own comfort. We grow up believing that if we are friendly, people will like us more, and in return, we will feel valued. But as we step into the real world, we realize that not everyone appreciates kindness the way we do. Some people take it as an open invitation to use, manipulate, or even disrespect us. This is when kindness turns into over-friendliness, when we give so much that we forget to set boundaries. Over-friendliness often comes from a place of insecurity. Many people try to be overly accommodating because they fear rejection or conflict. They think that by always saying yes, by always being agreeable, they will be loved and accepted. But in reality, the opposite happens. The more available you are, the more people take you for granted. The more you say yes to things you don't want to do, the more you lose your voice. And the more you prioritize others over yourself, the more you become invisible in your own life. There is a misconception that being friendly means never disappointing anyone. But here's the truth: you cannot make everyone happy, and you are not supposed to. The moment you realize this, your life will become easier. It is not your job to always be the one who understands, the one who adjusts, or the one who puts everyone else's needs above their own. There's a reason airlines tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Some of the most generous and kind-hearted people I have met are also the ones who have suffered the most. Why? Because they gave and gave until they had nothing left for themselves. They became so focused on pleasing others that they lost their own identity. They were so eager to be liked that they forgot to ask themselves, do I even like the person I am becoming? That is the real danger of over-friendliness. It makes you lose yourself in the process of trying to be everything for everyone. Let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are not about being rude or selfish. Boundaries are about respecting yourself enough to say, I deserve to be treated with the same kindness that I give to others. When you allow people to cross your boundaries repeatedly, you teach them that it is okay to disrespect you. You teach them that your time, your emotions, and your energy are not valuable. But when you set boundaries, you send a message: I value myself and I expect others to value me too. Some people will not like the new you when you start setting boundaries. They will call you selfish, rude, or arrogant. Why? Because they were benefiting from the fact that you had none. They were comfortable with the version of you that always said yes, always agreed, and always made life easier for them. But do not let this guilt trap stop you from protecting your peace. If someone gets upset because you are no longer allowing them to take advantage of you, that is a clear sign that they were never truly your friend. Real friendships and relationships are built on mutual respect. A true friend will not get angry when you say no. A true friend will understand when you need space, when you need time for yourself, or when you cannot always be available. But those who only stick around when you are convenient for them, they are not your friends. They are just people who benefited from your inability to say no. Over-friendliness can also impact your career and professional life. Many people think that by always being agreeable at work, they will earn respect and recognition. But in reality, it often leads to the opposite. If you are always the one who stays late, takes on extra work without question, and never speaks up, people will assume that you are okay with it. They will keep piling responsibilities onto you, while others get promotions and opportunities because they know how to assert themselves. The workplace, much like life, respects those who know their worth. The same applies to relationships. Whether it's with family, friends, or a romantic partner, if you do not set limits, people will unconsciously push those limits further and further. The problem with being too friendly is that you expect people to treat you the way you treat them. But unfortunately, the world does not work that way. Some people see kindness as weakness. Some see it as an opportunity to take advantage. and some simply do not have the same heart as you. That is why it is crucial to understand that not everyone deserves your kindness in unlimited amounts. And I'm going to share the story of that woman. That is my story. The story of gratitude. I love you too. I love you all. I believe in the power of words. Many people speak before they think. But I know the value of words. The words can make you, break you, they can heal your soul, they can damage you forever. So I always try to use the positive words in my life wherever I go. They call it adversity, I call it opportunity. They call it weakness, I call it strength. They call me disabled, I call myself differently able. They see my disability. They see my disability, I see my ability. There are some incidents that happen in your life, and those incidents are so strong that they change your DNA. Those incidents or accidents are so strong that they break you physically. They deform your body, but they transform your soul. Those incidents break you, deform you, but they mold you into the best version of you. And the same thing happened to me. And I'm going to share what exactly happened to me. I was 18 years old when I got married. And this thing I'm sharing for the very first time on an international level. I was 18 years old when I got married. I belonged to a very conservative family, a Baloch family, where good daughters never say no to their parents. My father wanted me to get married. And all I said was, if that makes you happy, I'll say yes. And of course, it was never a happy marriage. Just about after 2 years of getting married, about 9 years ago, I met a car accident. Somehow my husband fell asleep and the car fell in the ditch. He managed to jump out, saved himself. I'm happy for him. But I stayed inside the car and I sustained a lot of injuries. The list is a bit long. Don't get scared. I'm perfectly fine now. Radius ulna of my right arm were fractured. The wrist was fractured. Shoulder bone and collarbone were fractured. My whole rib cage got fractured. And because of the rib cage injury, lungs and liver were badly injured. I couldn't breathe. I lost urinary bowel control. That's why I have to wear the bag wherever I go. But that injury that changed me and my life completely as a person and my perception towards living my life was the spine injury. 3 vertebrae of my backbone were completely crushed and I got paralyzed for the rest of my life. So this accident took place in a far-flung area in the outskirts of a very small province, Balochistan, where there was no first aid, no hospital, no ambulance. I was in the middle of nowhere in that toppled car. Many people came to rescue. They gave me CPR. They dragged me out of the car. And while they were dragging me out, I got the complete transection of my spinal cord. And now there was this debate going on. Should we keep it here? She's going to die. Where should we go? There is no ambulance. There was this 4-wheeler Jeep standing in the corner of the street. They said, put her in the back of the Jeep and take her to the hospital, which is 3 hours away from this place. And I still remember that bumpy ride. I was all broken. They threw me at the back of the Jeep and they rushed me to the hospital. That is where I realized that my half body was fractured and half was paralyzed. I finally ended up in a hospital where I stayed for 2.5 months. I underwent multiple surgeries. Doctors have put a lot of titanium in my arm. There's a lot of titanium at my back to fix my back. That's why people in Pakistan call me the Iron Lady of Pakistan. Sometimes I wonder how easy it is for me to describe all this all over again. And somebody has rightly said that when you share your story and it doesn't make you cry, that means you have healed. It's 2.5 months in the hospital were dreadful. I will not make up stories just to inspire you. I was at the verge of despair. One day, doctor came to me and he said, well, I heard that you wanted to be an artist, but you ended up being a housewife. I have a bad news for you. You won't be able to paint again because your wrist and your arm are so deformed, you won't be able to hold a pen again. And I stayed quiet. Next day, doctor came to me and said, your spine injury is so bad, you won't be able to walk again. I took a deep breath and I said, it's all right. The next day, doctor came to me and said, because of your spine injury and the fixation that you have in your back, you won't be able to give birth to a child again. That day, I was devastated. I still remember, I asked my mother, why me? And that is where I started to question my existence. Why am I even alive? What's the point of living? I cannot walk, I cannot paint, fine, I cannot be a mother. And we have this thing in our heads being women that we are incomplete without having children. I am going to be an incomplete woman for the rest of my life. What's the point? People are scared. They think I will get divorced. What is going to happen to me? Why me? Why am I alive? We all try to chase this tunnel. We all do this because we see light in the end of the tunnel, which keeps us going. My dear friends, in my situation, there was a tunnel and I had to roll on. There was no light. And that is where I realized that the words have the power to heal the soul. My mother said to me, this too shall pass. God has a greater plan for you. I don't know what it is, but He surely has. And in all that distress and grief, somehow or the other, those words were so magical that they kept me going. I was trying to put that smile on my face all the time, was hiding. It was so hard to hide the pain, which was there. But all I knew was that if I will give up, my mother and my brothers will give up too. I cannot see them crying with me. So what kept me going was, one day I asked my brothers, I know I have a deformed hand, but I'm tired of looking at these white walls in the hospital and wearing these white scrubs. I'm getting tired of this. I want to add more colors to my life. I want to do something. Bring me some colors. Bring me some small canvas. I want to paint. So the very first painting I made was on my deathbed, where I painted for the very first time. It was not just an art piece or just my passion. It was my therapy. What an amazing therapy it was. Without uttering a single word, I could paint my heart out. I could share my story. People used to come and say, what lovely painting. So much color. Nobody could see the grief in it. Only I could. So that's how I spent 2.5 months in my hospital, crying, never complaining or whining, but painting. And then I was discharged and I went back home. And I went back home and I realized that I have developed a lot of pressure ulcers on my back and on my hip bone. I was unable to sit. There were a lot of infections in my body, a lot of allergies. So doctors wanted me to lie down on the bed straight for not 6 months, not 1 year, for 2 years. I was bedridden, confined in that one room, looking outside the window listening to the birds chirping, and thinking maybe there will be a time when we'll be going out with the family and enjoying the nature. That was the time where I realized how lucky people are, but they don't realize. That is the time where I realized that the day I'm going to share this pain with everyone to make them realize how blessed they are, and they don't even consider them lucky. There are always turning points in your life. There was a rebirth day that I celebrated. After 2 years and 2.5 months, when I was able to sit on a wheelchair, that was the day when I had the rebirth. I was a completely different person. I still remember the day I sat on the wheelchair for the first time, knowing that I'm never going to leave this, knowing that I won't be able to walk for the rest of my life. I saw myself in the mirror and I talked to myself. And I still remember what I said. I cannot wait for a miracle to come and make me walk. I cannot sit in the corner of the room crying, cribbing, and begging for mercy because nobody has time. So I have to accept myself the way I am. The sooner the better. So I applied the lip color for the first time. And I erased it. And I cried. And I said, what am I doing? A person on a wheelchair should not do this. What will people say? Clean it up. Put it again. This time I put it for myself. Because I wanted to feel perfect from within. And that day I decided that I'm going to live life for myself. I am not going to be that perfect person for someone. I am just going to take this moment and I will make it perfect for myself. And you know how it all began? That day I decided that I'm going to fight my fears. We all have fears. Fear of unknown, fear of known, fear of losing people, fear of losing health, money. We want to excel in career, we want to become famous, we want to get money. We are scared all the time. So I wrote down one by one all those fears. And I decided that I'm going to overcome these fears one at a time. Do you know what was my biggest fear? Divorce. I couldn't stand this word. I was trying to cling on to this person who didn't want me anymore, but I said no. I have to make it work. But the day I decided that this is nothing but my fear, I liberated myself by setting him free. And I made myself emotionally so strong that the day I got the news that he's getting married, I sent him a text that I'm so happy for you and I wish you all the best. And he knows that I pray for him today. My biggest fear, number 2, was I won't be able to be a mother again. And that was quite devastating for me. But then I realized there are so many children in the world, all they want is acceptance. So there is no point of crying, just go and adopt one. And that's what I did. I gave my name in different organizations, different orphanages. I didn't mention that I'm on a wheelchair, trying to have a child. So I just told them that this is Muniba Mazari and she wants to adopt a boy or girl, whatsoever, but I want to adopt a kid. And I waited patiently. 2 years later, I got this call from a very small city in Pakistan. I got a call and they said, are you Muniba Mazari? There is a baby boy and would you like to adopt? And when I say yes, I could literally feel the labor pain. I said, yes, I am going to adopt him. I am coming to take him home. And that day, I was 2 days old, and today he's 6. You'll be surprised to know another bigger fear that I had in me. It was facing people. I used to hide myself from them. When I was on bed for 2 years, I used to keep the door closed. I used to pretend that I'm not going to meet anyone, tell them that I'm sleeping. You know why? Because I couldn't stand that sympathy that they had for me. They used to treat me like a patient. When I used to smile, they used to look at me and say that, "You're smiling, are you okay?" I was tired of this question being asked, "Are you sick?" Well, a lady yesterday at the airport asked me, "Are you sick?" And I said, "Well, besides spinal cord injury, I'm fine, I guess." But those are really cute questions. They never used to feel cute when I was on the bed. So I used to hide myself from people, knowing that, oh my God, I'm not going to see that sympathy in their eyes. It's all right. And today I'm here speaking to all these amazing people because I have overcome the fear. You know, when you end up being on the wheelchair, what's the most painful thing? That's another fear that people on the wheelchair or the people who are differently able have in their hearts, but they never share. I'll share that with you. The lack of acceptance. People think that they will not be accepted by the people because we, in the world of perfect people, are imperfects. So I decided that instead of starting an NGO for disability awareness, which I know will not help anyone, I started to appear more in public. I started to paint. I always wanted to. I've done a lot of exhibitions. I'm Pakistan's first wheelchair-bound artist. I've done a lot of modeling campaigns, different campaigns for brands like Tony and Guy. I have done some really funny, breaking the barriers kind of modeling. There was this one by the name Clown Town where I became a clown because I know that clowns have hearts too. And then I also decided that if I really want to make the difference, I am not going to let people use me for their polio campaigns where they will make you a victim and an emblem of misery and mercy and will say that, you know what, give polio drops to your children or they'll become like this girl. I decided that I'm going to join the national TV of Pakistan as an anchor person. And I've been doing a lot of shows for the last 3 years. So when you accept yourself the way you are, the world recognizes you. It all starts from within. I became the National Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women Pakistan, and now I speak for the rights of women, children. We talk about inclusion, diversity, gender equality, which is a must. I was featured in BBC 100 Women for 2015. I'm one of Forbes 30 under 30 for 2016. And it all didn't happen alone. You all are thriving in your careers. You have bigger dreams and aspirations in life. Always remember one thing. On the road to success, there is always we, not me. Do not think that you alone can achieve things. No. There is always another person who is standing behind you. Maybe not coming on the forefront, but behind you, praying for you and supporting you. Never lose that person. Never. No matter how much I say that I couldn't find a hero, so I became one, I still want to recognize those 3 people in my life who literally changed my life completely, and I get inspiration from them every single day. Waleed Khan. Many people know about the terrorist attacks in Pakistan. We have lost many people. And I'm sharing this with a very heavy heart because we actually have lost a lot of people in this huge turmoil of terrorism. These people are barbarians. They do not see people. They're even worse than animals. They have killed people in mosques. They have killed people in churches, temples, even in schools. There was this terrorist attack in Army Public School, Peshawar, where these terrorists entered in an examination hall, and they killed our children. And in that attack, that day, this beautiful boy, Waleed Khan, who was my hero, my real life hero, was the proctor who was taking care of the students, was keeping an eye on the students. Those barbarians shot him 3 times in the face, 5 times on his body, and he fell down. I was asked to give a talk in the school after a week of that terrorist attack. With a very heavy heart, I went there and I spoke. We sang a few national songs. I thought that maybe I've done my part, but deep inside, it was killing me. I could see children injured. I could see children sitting on the wheelchairs looking at me, wondering, what next? What was our fault? Just because we were here to give examination, we have been shot. So many people, so many children lost their friends. Their classrooms were empty. The next day they went to the classroom. So this kid, Waleed Khan, I was asked that he is in a hospital right now, and you have to go and see him and motivate him and tell him that it's going to be okay. And when I saw Waleed Khan coming on the wheelchair for the first time in front of me, his face was all deformed. His leg was fractured, his arm was fractured. He couldn't talk, his tongue is steel. He cannot sneeze, he cannot smell. He cannot eat. And I kept thinking, what should I say? That everything is going to be all right? No, nothing is all right. And while I was juggling with the words, what to say, what not to say, this beautiful child, Waleed Khan, came to me and he said, "Are you Muniba Mazari?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Baji, let's take a selfie." And with that beautiful, ruthless smile, Waleed Khan, we took that beautiful selfie that I still have with me. I don't share that here because he was in a very bad shape that time. And that is where I realized that when I was thinking too much about his deformities, he's happy with himself. He doesn't even care. Because today he goes in the same school, and when somebody asks him that what happened to your face, why so many scars, you know what he says? "These scars are my medals and I wear them with pride." And how beautifully he says that terrorists wanted me not to study. I'm going to study. I will become a doctor one day. And this is my way of taking revenge from those terrorists. Another real life hero, of course, my son. His name is Nile, Nile, River Nile. I learned so much from this kid. The first and foremost thing is patience. How to be patient when you know that your mother cannot walk, when you know that your mother is different from the other women, when you know that your mother cannot go out and play with you. How to stay calm. He loves football. And when we got the very first football, he was 4 years old. He was super excited. I still remember he came in the room and he said, "Mom, let's play football." And he kept the ball in my feet. And he said, "Let's kick it." And that day I felt disabled. I said, "I cannot kick the ball." And I was down with the same face. He looked at me and he said, "Well, that's all right. Your legs are not working, but your hands do. Let's play." You know, with that phrase, he made me realize that when you think your glass is half empty, come on, your glass is half full. It's all in here and here. Last but not least, the woman who made me realize that heroes have no gender. The woman who believed in me even when I was completely at the verge of despair, where everybody left. She was there. And every time I looked at her, without saying anything, she used to look at me and said, "Mr. Shelbass, God has a bigger plan. And one day you will say that, oh my God, that is why God has chosen me. She never cried in front of me. She's always said that there will be haters, there will be naysayers, there will be disbelievers, and then there will be you proving them wrong. My mother. Whatever I am today, I'm nothing without her. I'm nothing without her. Thank you, Mama. I wish you were here. Thank you for making me who I am today. You know what? We human beings have a problem. Out of many problems, there is one more, and this is self-created one. We always expect ease from life. We have this amazing fantasy about life. This is how things should work. This is my plan. It should go as per my plan. If that doesn't happen, we give up. So my dear friends, let me tell you one thing. I never wanted to be on the wheelchair. Never thought of being on the wheelchair. I was always aspiring to do bigger things, but had no idea that for that I have to pay the price to be where I am today. It's a very heavy price. This life is a test and a trial, and tests and trials are never supposed to be easy. So when you're expecting ease from life, and life gives you lemons, then you make the lemonade, and then do not blame life for that, because you were expecting ease from a trial. Trials make you a stronger, better person. Life is a trial. Every time you realize that. It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. Everything is okay, but giving up should not be an option. They always say that failure is not an option. Failure should be an option, because when you fail, you get up, and then you fail, and then you get up, and that keeps you going. That's how humans are strong. Failure is an option, should be an option, but giving up is not. Never. We have this thing in minds. We call it perfection. We want everything perfect. We want ourselves to be perfect. There is this image in our head about everything. Perfect life, perfect relationships, perfect career, perfect amount of money that we need to earn no matter what. Nothing is perfect in this world. We all are perfectly imperfect, and that is perfectly all right. That's all right. We were sent here not to become the perfect people. Those people who tell you how to look perfect, even those people are imperfect. Trying to fight this fear of looking imperfect. I used to be perfect. I still remember. I got this compliment years ago when I used to walk. Oh my God, look at you. You're fair, you're tall, you're perfect. Look at me now. Only the perfect eyes can see that. Only the perfect eyes will see that. Only the perfect eyes will see that. So yes, in all those imperfections, you have to listen to your heart. You don't have to look good for people. You don't have to be perfect just because other people want you to be perfect. If your soul is perfect from within, that's all right. This is all what you want. This is all what you need to be. Our society has made very weird kind of norms to look perfect and great. For men, it's different. For women, it's different. We think too much about what people say. We listen to ourselves too little. Do you know what makes you perfect? When you make someone smile. You know what makes you perfect? When you try to do something good for the people around you. You know what makes you perfect? When you feel someone's pain. And how beautiful pain is that it connects you with people. No other medium can connect you with others but pain. That's why I always say that I'm in pain, and that's a blessing in disguise for me. Today, just because I'm in pain and I'm on the wheelchair, I work for children. Being the head of CSR for a company, we conduct medical camps in far-flung areas of Pakistan where so many kids die because they don't have medical facilities. And I personally believe just because they cannot afford to live doesn't mean we'll let them die. So we give them money, we give them medical treatment, we try to heal their wounds, physical and emotional. And I also work for the beautiful people, we call them third gender, the transgender community of Pakistan. You know what connects me with them? All my imperfections. When I go and I hug them, they never judge me. And this very good friend of mine, her name is Bijli. Bijli means electricity. She calls herself electricity. And I said, are you electricity? She says, no, I'm lightning. I'm as strong as lightning. Because we have very bad power outage, so she doesn't want me to call her with electricity. So she says, I am very strong. I'm thunder, I'm lightning. She came to me, and the first time I hugged her, she said, you are just like me. And I said, yes, I am like you. Because to people, we are so imperfect. So how beautiful these imperfections are, that because of these imperfections, you can connect with people. Then why are we all running after being perfect? What's the point? Every time I go in public, I always smile. It's always a big goofy smile on my face, and people ask me, don't you get tired of smiling all the time? What's the secret? I always say one thing, that I have stopped worrying about the things that I have lost, people that I've lost. Things and people who were meant to be with me are with me. And sometimes, somebody's absence makes you a better person. Cherish their absence. It's always a blessing in disguise. I always say that people are so lucky they don't even realize. You must be thinking, okay, you're lucky in what sense? Well, the breath that you just took was a blessing. Embrace it. There are so many people in the world who are dreaming to live a life that you are living right now. You have no idea. Embrace each and every breath that you are taking. Celebrate your life. Live it. Don't die before your death. We all die. We live this one routine of a day for 75 years and we call it life. No, that's not life. If you're still thinking why you have been sent here, if you're still juggling with the concept of why you are here, you haven't lived yet. You work hard, you make money, you do it for yourself. That's not life. You go out, you seek for people who need your help, you make their lives better. You become that sponge which can absorb all the negativity, and you become that person who can emit beautiful positive vibes. And when you realize that you have changed someone's life, and because of you, this person didn't give up, that is the day when you live. Always. We were talking about gratitude, why I smile all the time. I cry all night when nobody sees me, because I'm a human and I have to keep the balance. And I smile all day because I know that if I will smile, I can make people smile. That keeps me going. Be grateful for what you have, and you will always end up having more. But if you'll cry, if you'll crib for the little things that you don't have or the things that you've lost, you will never ever have enough. Sometimes we are too busy thinking about the things that we don't have that we forget to cherish the blessings that we have. I'm not saying that I'm not healthy and that makes me unlucky. But yes, it is hard. It is hard when I say that I cannot walk. It is hard to say when I wear this bag. It hurts. But I have to keep going. Because never giving up is the way to live. Always. So I'll end my talk on a very short note. Live your life fully. Accept yourself the way you are. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I'll repeat, be kind to yourself, and only then you can be kind to others. Love yourself and spread that love. Life will be hard. There will be turmoil. There will be trials, but that will only make you stronger. Never give up. The real happiness doesn't lie in money or success or fame. I have this all. I never wanted this. Real happiness lies in gratitude. So be grateful, be alive, and live every moment. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Let him feel what losing you feels like. There's something powerful about walking away, not out of spite, but out of necessity. It's the quiet reclaiming of your own space, your own soul, your own worth, after giving so much of it to someone who didn't know how to appreciate it. The kind of loss that makes you understand, with painful clarity, that you can't pour yourself into someone else's cup when they're not even willing to hold it. It's the moment you stop trying to fix what's broken and start healing from what was never truly whole. And sometimes, in the process of healing, you have to let him feel the weight of what he's lost. You have to let him feel the absence of you in his life, in his world, in his heart. Let him feel it. The silence you leave behind is the loudest thing he will ever experience. It is deafening. It's in the moments when he reaches for the phone, but there's no text from you. It's in the empty spaces where your presence used to fill the gaps. The laughter, the warmth, the late-night talks, the inside jokes. Let him feel the ghost of your touch on the side of the bed that's now cold. Let him sleep beside the memory of your scent lingering in the pillowcase, and let it haunt him, night after night. Let him feel the heaviness of knowing he took you for granted. Let him sit in the empty silence that you once filled with your voice. Let him miss you more than he thought possible, not because you're gone, but because now he realizes that he could have done better. He should have done better. The realization that you are no longer a part of his life will slowly start to eat at him, a slow burn that he won't be able to extinguish with distractions or new faces. Let him feel his regret. Regret has a way of lingering. It creeps into your mind when you're least expecting it and makes everything feel heavy, suffocating. He will find himself regretting the times he didn't pick up your calls, the moments he didn't show up when you needed him. He'll regret the words he never said, the apologies he never offered, and the moments he let slip by without truly appreciating you. Let him drown in the sea of what ifs and could have beens. Let him wonder why it was so hard to be the person you needed him to be when all you ever wanted was his presence, his effort, and his love. Let him replay every argument in his mind, searching for the turning point, the moment where everything shifted. Let him feel the sting of knowing that even though he said he cared, his actions didn't show it. The disconnect that formed between you two wasn't a sudden explosion but a slow erosion, a build-up of small hurts that he never noticed, or worse, didn't acknowledge. Let him feel the weight of his own negligence. Let him know that it wasn't just you who walked away. It was him who pushed you to that edge. Let him experience the loneliness. Loneliness is something you don't truly understand until you lose someone who was a constant in your life. It's the empty space where their laughter once lived, the quiet moments that once felt comforting but now feel like an unbearable void. Let him feel that. Let him feel the aching loneliness of coming home to an empty apartment, walking into rooms that no longer echo with your voice. Let him sit in the silence of his own choices and understand that his actions led to this moment. Let him feel the sharp sting of not having someone to share the mundane moments with, not having someone to laugh at bad jokes or cry over stupid things. He will try to fill the emptiness with other people, with distractions, with anything that doesn't force him to confront the fact that you're really gone. But the truth will linger, and no matter how hard he tries to ignore it, he'll feel your absence in every corner of his life. The seat next to him at the dinner table will feel like a reminder of what he lost. The places you used to go together will no longer hold the same meaning. Let him wander through the world and find everything hollow without you. Let him see you move on. The hardest part for him to swallow will be watching you move on. He'll watch you grow, heal, and thrive without him. He'll see you start to live a life he thought was once his to share, and that will be a blow that will take longer to recover from than anything else. But let him see it. Let him see you shine in ways he never allowed you to. Let him see your strength, your resilience, and your ability to move forward even after he failed you. Let him see the way you've started to love yourself again. Let him see you become the person you always were, but never got the chance to be when you were with him. Let him witness your joy, your independence, your freedom. Let him feel the regret of realizing that you were the one thing he had that was worth holding on to, and now he's left only with the memory of what could have been. Let him watch you rebuild your life. Let him see you become stronger, more confident, and more whole without him. Let him see your happiness, and let him know it's not because of him, but in spite of him. Let him feel the finality of it all. Sometimes, the hardest part is accepting that it's over. You don't just walk away from someone because of one bad fight or one big mistake. You walk away because the love you gave wasn't valued, because the effort you put in wasn't reciprocated, and because you finally realized that you deserve more. Let him feel the weight of that finality. Let him feel that he had his chance, and he squandered it. Let him see that the door is closed, and no matter how hard he knocks, it won't open again. You can't fix someone who isn't willing to fix themselves. You can't keep giving when someone keeps taking. You can't continue to pour love into a place that isn't willing to hold it. And sometimes, walking away is the most loving thing you can do, for yourself and for him. Let him learn the value of what he lost. In the end, the only thing that will truly matter to him is the realization of what he had and what he lost. He'll try to move on, to fill the space with someone else, but it won't be the same. He'll find himself comparing them to you, wondering why they don't make him feel the way you did. Let him search for someone who can give him the same love, the same warmth, the same connection, but never find it. Let him realize that what he had with you was rare and irreplaceable. And when he finally does understand, it will be too late. Let him feel that truth deep in his chest, the weight of knowing that he lost the one person who truly understood him, the one person who loved him without conditions, the one person who would have stayed if only he had realized how much he needed to change. But in that moment, you will be gone. You will have healed, you will have moved on, and you will have learned that losing him wasn't the worst thing that could have happened to you. The worst thing would have been staying. Let him feel what losing you feels like, so he knows. So let him feel it. Let him feel every single moment of losing you. Let him sit in that pain, in that regret, in that loneliness. Let him learn the hard way. Let him feel the weight of his own mistakes, so that he can never forget what it means to lose someone who truly cared. And as he feels it, remember this: you walked away not to punish him, but to save yourself. Let him feel the truth. Let him feel what losing you feels like. Let him feel the lesson he should have learned a long time ago. And let him know, in the end, you are always worth more than he ever realized. What happens when you ignore a man who pulled away? There's a peculiar silence that settles in when someone pulls away from you. Not the kind of silence that brings peace, but the kind that echoes, questions, and simmers with tension. For anyone who's been in the throes of an emotional connection, only to feel it slowly disintegrate as the man withdraws, the decision to ignore him in return becomes more than an act. It becomes a psychological and emotional turning point. It begins with confusion. He doesn't text like he used to. Calls become infrequent. His tone, once warm and eager, is now subdued, almost indifferent. You question everything. Was it something you said? Was it moving too fast? Was it ever real? That's when you make the hardest decision, to stop trying, not out of spite, not out of pride, but because continuing to reach out feels like begging for crumbs when you once had a feast. So you stop. You don't text good morning. You don't check if he saw your last message. You don't ask if he's okay. You disappear into your own world. At first, he might not notice. Men who pull away often expect to be chased. It's a dance many are familiar with. He distances, she pursues, he regains control. But when you step out of that dance, the rhythm falters. He may feel a flicker of confusion. She's not chasing. Then, a flare of ego. She must be hurt. Maybe she's waiting for me to say something. But as days turn into weeks, and your silence remains steady, not cold, just complete, something shifts. He begins to reflect, even if only internally. He replays moments. He scrolls through past texts. And if he did feel anything real, you'll feel a loss beginning to stir. But here's the twist. You're not ignoring him to get a reaction. At least, not anymore. You're doing it because you've started to see the truth. If someone truly values you, they don't vanish at the first sign of emotional weight. You recognize that chasing someone who's walking away is the quickest way to lose yourself. And suddenly, the silence you feared becomes your ally, your shield. In that quiet, something profound happens. You start listening to yourself again. Your needs, your voice, your worth, things that got lost in the noise of trying to hold on to someone who was slipping. Sometimes he comes back. Maybe he texts with a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" Maybe he watches your stories and reacts with a laughing emoji, as if trying to pick up where things left off, no mention of the distance he created. You recognize it now. This is the breadcrumb trail, but you're not starving anymore. If he comes back with depth, with clarity, with ownership of his distance and an honest desire to reconnect, then maybe there's room for dialogue. But if he comes back with surface-level attempts and empty charm, your silence continues, not as punishment, but as protection. And sometimes, he doesn't come back at all. That hurts too, because you realize the connection meant more to you than it did to him. But even in that, you find freedom. You no longer wait for someone who was unsure about you. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's confusion. In the end, ignoring a man who pulled away isn't about playing games. It's about drawing boundaries where there was once blurred desperation. It's about choosing yourself, even when it hurts. It's about knowing that love isn't something you should have to chase. The silence you offered wasn't absence. It was an answer.
You can't break a woman who raised a child alone and survived heartbreak in silence. She's already been through the kind of battles most people run from. She's wiped her own tears while rocking a baby to sleep. She's faced long nights with no one to call, no one to lean on, and still got up the next morning and showed up for her child, for herself, for a life she refused to give up on. She didn't have the luxury of falling apart, so she learned to bend without breaking. She stitched her heart back together in quiet moments when no one was watching. Her strength isn't loud, it's built into her bones, forged in silence and sacrifice. She doesn't need saving. She became her own hero the moment she chose to keep going when everything told her to give up. Now she walks with the kind of grace that makes noise without a sound. She's unshaken by petty drama, untouched by shallow judgment. Because once you've survived real pain and carried another soul through it too, The world loses its power to shake you. That woman, the one who survived alone, she's unbreakable. And that's her power. You humiliated the only woman who would have stood by you if you had nothing. You didn't just lose her, you disrespected her. Loudly. You embarrassed the one woman who would have stood by you in silence and struggle and survival. She was there when you had no money, no vision, just potential, and she still believed in you. She made excuses for your immaturity, covered for your mistakes, and clapped for you louder than anyone else ever did. And what did you give her in return? Disrespect. Lies. Public shame. You humiliated the woman who would have taken a bullet for you, not because she was desperate, but because she was loyal. She stayed when it wasn't easy. She defended you when it wasn't popular. And she chose you when there was nothing to gain but struggle. Now you're out here performing for women who wouldn't even text you back if you were down. While the real one, the one who would have helped you build an empire, is gone. You didn't just fumble a woman. You fumbled protection. The worst feeling for a woman is when she tries to have a conversation with a man about his behavior. That hurts her every day, but instead of listening, he gets angry and turns the situation around on her and makes her look like she's the problem. She just wanted to be heard. She just wanted to feel understood, but instead she ends up questioning herself. She goes quiet, not because she's okay, but because she's tired of being unheard. It's her heart asking for effort, for change, for care. A woman will stop talking when she feels it doesn't matter, and once she stops, it's hard to get her back because silence is louder than any word she ever said. She needs love, not lectures. Empathy, not ego. Listen before she stops trying. Understand before she walks away, because when she's done for good. Drop a 100 if you agree with me and pass this on to someone who needs it. God bless.
You drink hot water every morning. Listen. You drink hot water every morning.
You can't bring down a woman who isn't afraid to eat alone, to lose friends, who doesn't care about rejections, heartbreaks, and who refuses to tolerate disrespect. She knows who she is and she stands firmly in her truth. Eating alone doesn't bother her because she values peace over company. She can walk away from friendships that no longer serve her without regret. She has learned that rejection is simply redirection and heartbreak is not the end but part of the path. Her strength doesn't come from how others treat her, but from how she treats herself. She is not desperate for attention, validation, or approval. If someone disrespects her, she leaves without explanation. She doesn't chase anyone or anything. She has been through pain and now she's built from resilience. She is comfortable in silence, strong in solitude, and graceful in chaos. She isn't looking to be saved or fixed, she saves herself. Her energy is sacred, her boundaries are clear, and her self-worth is unshakable. You can try to break her, but you'll only reveal her strength. A woman like her cannot be defeated because her power comes from within, and that can't be taken away by anyone. She loved you past the cheating, past the silence, past the shame, and you loved her like she was temporary. She loved you in ways that broke her. She loved you past the messages she wasn't supposed to see. Past the nights you came home and said nothing. Past the days she felt invisible next to a man she was still fighting for. She loved you even when you made her feel like an option. Even when your loyalty belonged to attention, not commitment. Even when you handed her pain and called it just a mistake. She stayed through the storm not because she was weak, but because she believed love could outlast betrayal. She told herself you'd change, that maybe, just maybe, she'd be enough one day. But you loved her like she had an expiration date. Like good women grow on trees. Like she couldn't wake up one morning and finally be done. And when she left, she didn't leave with bitterness. She left with silence, with peace, with her worth finally intact. Because the truth is, she was never temporary. You just never loved her, you used her. You used her heart for comfort, her body for convenience, her loyalty for ego. And when she started asking questions, the kind that scared you, you called her crazy, too emotional, too much, too sensitive. You turned her intuition into insecurity, her instincts into overthinking. her boundaries into problems. You made her question herself so deeply that she started apologizing for things you did. She replayed every word, every moment, wondering if she was the reason you pulled away. But the truth is she wasn't. You never planned to stay. You just loved how she stayed for you. You loved the way she held you down, how she gave and gave, thinking maybe if she loved you hard enough, you'd finally see her. But you never did. You just took more. Now she's gone, and you'll tell people she was crazy. But deep down, you'll remember how she loved you with hands that were shaking, how she showed up even when you didn't. You used her, but she healed. And one day, you'll realize you lost the kind of woman no apology can bring back.
Best thing about the worst times. A story of truth and resilience. Life has a way of testing us, sometimes gently, other times with a force that leaves us breathless. It's in those moments, when the ground beneath our feet feels like it's crumbling, that we discover something truly profound. Not everyone is who they claim to be. And while the worst times of our lives can feel suffocating, there's an unexpected gift hidden within them. The chance to see the true colors of everyone around us. Think back to your darkest hour. Maybe it was a heartbreak that left you questioning love. Or perhaps it was a professional setback that made you doubt your worth. Maybe it was grief so heavy that breathing itself felt impossible. Whatever it was, I'm sure you remember the faces. The ones who showed up and the ones who disappeared without a trace. I'll never forget my own worst time. It came wrapped in loss, a chapter of life where everything seemed to fall apart at once. Friends I thought would stand by me vanished into thin air, offering empty words or no words at all. Meanwhile, people I barely expected, like a distant coworker or an old acquaintance, showed up with kindness I didn't even know existed. They brought soup when I couldn't cook, sat silently beside me when I couldn't speak, and reminded me that I wasn't alone, even when it felt like I was. That's the thing about adversity. It strips away pretenses. When life gets hard, some people retreat because they don't know how to handle it. Others rise to the occasion, revealing depths of compassion and strength you might never have seen otherwise. And then there are those rare souls who stay steady through it all, the anchors in your stormy seas. These are the people worth holding on to, not because they're perfect, but because their loyalty shines brightest when you need it most. But here's what else happens during these trials. You start seeing yourself more clearly too. You learn which relationships lift you up and which ones weigh you down. You realize that not every person deserves space in your world, and that's okay. Pain teaches you to value authenticity over popularity, depth over surface level connections. It forces you to reevaluate who you let into your inner circle and who you choose to keep out. And isn't that empowering? Yes, the worst times hurt. They leave scars that may never fully fade, but they also give you clarity, a priceless understanding of who truly matters and what kind of person you want to be. Will you be the friend who shows up even when it's inconvenient? The family member who listens without judgment? The stranger who extends a small act of kindness that changes someone's day or life? If you've been through tough times, take a moment to reflect. Who stood by you? Who walked away? And perhaps most importantly, how did you respond? Did you grow stronger, wiser, kinder? If not yet, there's still time. Because the truth is, life will test you again. And when it does, you'll have the opportunity to show your true colors to yourself and to others. So here's my call to action for you. Be the person you needed during your hardest days. Show up for someone else when they're struggling. Send that text, make that call. Sit in silence if that's what they need. Sometimes, simply being present is the greatest gift you can give. Let me leave you with this. Life's challenges don't define you, but how you face them does. In the end, the best thing about the worst times isn't just seeing the true colors of everyone else. It's realizing the strength of your own. Because after every storm, there's always sunlight waiting to break through. And guess what? You're stronger than any cloud that tries to block it.
Here are 15 places you must visit before you leave this world. 1. Christmas in New York. 2. Cherry blossom season in Japan. 3. Summer on the French Riviera. 4. Autumn in Edinburgh, Scotland. 5. Winter in the Swiss Alps. 6. Whale watching in Iceland. 7. The Northern Lights in Norway. 8. Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. 9. Sunset on the beaches of Bali. 10. Safari in Kenya. 11. Tulip fields in the Netherlands. 12. Floating markets in Bangkok. 13. The Sahara Desert and a safari adventure. 14. The beaches of the Maldives. 15. The Great Wall of China. I'll tell
My friend, every night lie down and close your eyes. There's a quiet door. Our brief moment will no longer feel it. You're not going to sleep. Your mind softens. God grows. In this space, the rain enters the kitchen. The same slate on reach you to my friend.
is with your own eyes. If you're in love, go to Paris. If you like royalty, go to Madrid. If you want luxury, go to Dubai. If you like freedom, go to Amsterdam. If you like cinema, go to Los Angeles. If you like history, go to Rome. If you like mystery, go to Edinburgh. If you like chaos, go to London. If you like sweets, go to Brussels. If you like rebellion, go to Berlin. If you like color, go to Barcelona. If you like calm, go to Côte d'Or. If you like fashion, go to Milan. If you like fairy tales, go to Prague. If you like stories, go to Istanbul. If you like the future, go to Singapore. If you like scooters, go to Hanoi. If you like art, go to Melbourne. If you like beaches, go to Phuket. If you like beauty, go to Budapest. If you like magic, go to Marrakesh. If you like eating, go to Istanbul. If you like history, go to Rome. If you like mystery, go to Edinburgh. If you like royalty, go to Madrid. If you like chaos, go to London. If you like sweets, go to Brussels. If you like color, go to Barcelona. If you like peace, go to Couture. If you like fashion, go to Milan. If you like fairy tales, go to Prague. If you like the future, go to Singapore. If you like scooters, go to Hanoi. If you like art, go to Melbourne. If you like beauty, go to Budapest. If you like magic, go to Marrakesh. If you like calm, go to Tallinn. If you're in love, go to Paris. If you want nature, go to Iceland. And remember the words of St. Augustine. The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. If you're not following, you're probably never going to see us again. If you are, then congratulations. You're growing every day.
Why a woman's wisdom vanishes when she's in love. You can take the sharpest, most self-aware woman, the one who gives her friends flawless advice, sees red flags from a mile away, and knows her worth inside and out, and still watch her unravel completely the moment she falls in love. Why does that happen? Because love doesn't knock politely on logic's door. It barges in with fireworks and soft promises. Suddenly, all that hard-earned wisdom takes a back seat to emotions that feel too loud, too real, too alive to ignore. It's not that she forgets everything she knows. She just starts second-guessing it. That voice that used to say, "This doesn't feel right," gets drowned out by another voice whispering, "But what if this is what real love feels like?" And that's the trick. Love doesn't show up wearing a villain's mask. It shows up wearing potential, and hope, and chemistry. It offers a glimpse of everything she's been waiting for, even if only in moments. So when she notices something's off, when his words don't match his actions, when she starts shrinking to keep him comfortable, her mind speaks up, but her heart fights back. Maybe he's just scared. Maybe I need to be more patient. Maybe I'm expecting too much. And just like that, her wisdom turns into silence. Not because it left her, but because love convinced her to mute it. You see, wisdom in love isn't about knowing the truth. It's about trusting it, even when you wish it wasn't true. That's the hardest part. Because when she's in love, she doesn't want to be right about the bad feeling in her gut. She wants to be wrong. She wants the fairy tale. She wants her heart to win. But love, real love, never asks a woman to abandon herself. When it's healthy, love amplifies her wisdom. It makes her feel more like herself, not less. She doesn't have to analyze every word or explain away her hurt. She just feels seen, safe, steady. So when a woman's wisdom disappears in love, it's not because she's foolish. It's because she's deeply human, capable of incredible grace, and sometimes too much grace for the wrong people. But here's the beauty of it. Wisdom may get quiet, but it never disappears. Eventually, it taps her on the shoulder and says, "It's time." And when she listens again, she comes back stronger, clearer, and with a love for herself that no one can talk her out of. Do you agree with me? Please drop a yes if you do, and follow me to see more videos. God bless you. How love turns a logical woman into a hopeful one. She used to be the woman who could break down a situation with the precision of a courtroom lawyer. Logic was her superpower. She saw patterns, spotted inconsistencies, and made decisions with a calm, calculated mind. That is, until love walked in, and logic quietly slipped out the back door. What is it about love that makes even the most rational woman trade in her sharp analysis for daydreams and maybe one days? It's not weakness. It's not foolishness. It's something far more profound. Hope. Love, in its purest form, isn't based on reason. It's a feeling. A deep, magnetic pull that bypasses the brain and lands right in the chest. When a logical woman falls in love, she begins to feel more than she thinks. And those feelings are powerful. They whisper things like, "He just needs time," or, "If I love him enough, maybe he'll heal." Psychologically, what's happening is fascinating. Love activates the brain's reward system. Dopamine kicks in, oxytocin gets flowing, and suddenly she's emotionally invested in someone who might not even deserve her energy. But because the highs of emotional connection are so intoxicating, she clings to the potential instead of the pattern. She stops evaluating based on facts and starts building scenarios based on hope. The shift isn't instant, it's gradual. It happens in the little things, overlooking that unanswered text, excusing the broken promises, choosing silence over confrontation. The same woman who once swore she'd never settle finds herself settling in small ways, not because she's lost herself, but because she's hoping for more. This hope can be beautiful, but it can also be dangerous. It tells her to hold on, even when the relationship starts to cost her peace. It says, "Wait a little longer," even as she loses sleep over the uncertainty. Hope rewrites the script of her logic, replacing clarity with emotional negotiations. But here's the thing, the logical woman never really disappears. She's still there, watching quietly, waiting to be invited back in. And often, she returns when the heart gets tired, when the hope that once kept her going starts to wear thin. That's when she remembers who she was before she believed she could fix love with feelings alone. In the end, it's not that love destroyed her logic, it simply challenged it. And once she finds the balance between her mind and her heart, she becomes unstoppable. Do you agree with me? Please drop a yes if you do, and follow me to see more videos. God bless you. How she justifies his neglect and calls it love. It's wild how the heart can twist pain into poetry. He disappears for days, and she says, "He's just busy." He doesn't text back, and she whispers, "He's not really into phones." He shows no emotional presence, and she explains, "He's just not good at expressing himself." Over and over, she puts a romantic filter on neglect and calls it love. You see, when a woman wants to believe in someone, she'll write an entire novel of excuses based on a single page of effort. The emotional crumbs he drops. She bakes them into a 5-course meal. Why? Because when your heart is deeply invested, you'd rather reshape reality than face rejection. It's not stupidity. It's survival. It's a psychological coping mechanism called cognitive dissonance. When your feelings and facts don't align, your brain rewrites the facts to protect your heart. Neglect in a relationship isn't just about absence. It's about emotional starvation. It's when your needs go unheard, your voice feels invisible, and your soul keeps knocking on a door that won't open. But she stays. And she stays because she's convinced that love is supposed to hurt a little. She's internalized that if she's patient enough, loyal enough, or low maintenance enough, he'll eventually see her worth. She mistakes endurance for affection. Sometimes, she confuses his inconsistency with mystery. His silence becomes intriguing. His detachment becomes a challenge. And suddenly, she's chasing validation from a man who doesn't even offer consistency. Because deep down, she believes if she can win his love, it will finally mean she's enough. But let's be honest. Real love doesn't require detective work. It doesn't leave you anxious, second-guessing, or reading between the lines. Love shows up. It's kind, clear, and consistent. If he cared, you wouldn't have to translate his actions. You'd feel it. The moment she starts calling neglect just his way, she erases her own needs from the story. She's not in love. She's in longing. And longing, when not met with reciprocity, becomes self-abandonment. A woman must understand this. Love doesn't hurt like that. Love doesn't leave you questioning your worth or begging for bare minimums. If you constantly have to explain his behavior to your friends, or worse, to yourself, he's not your man. He's your emotional lesson. The right kind of love won't need a defense attorney. It'll speak for itself, with presence, effort, and care. If this message speaks to you, type yes in the comments and follow me for more soul-deep conversations. God bless you. He says he loves you, but you always feel small. He tells you he loves you, maybe even every day.